Hello again, and welcome to One Sheet, unique techniques and tools in Revit for creating intelligent design concepts using only one sheet. This is lesson 3 for using Jarvis, the downloadable file available. We'll be talking about the basic site elements to get started on a project. That's property lines, property boundaries, road, sidewalk, curbs, acres, and open space. Before we get into modeling any buildings. So I'm going to open up my file here. And let's begin. The first thing that we want to do, if you remember in lesson 2, we set our our design options to the sample project here. So let's steal a couple of elements from this. That's what we're going to do first. We're going to copy a couple of these elements. So what we want to do first is double click into the plan view here, and you'll notice when you select things, if you also hold the control button, you'll be able to select multiple things. So select one thing. This is going to be the road right here. Select the road. Select this curb. All comes as one chunk. Building pad and curb. Select these green planes here, and just make sure that it turns blue once you have these things selected, right? So this helps you understand what you have selected. Now we're going to zoom in on these property lines. Um, these property lines are uh, actually planes. They're actually planes in here. They're not actually property lines. So one by one, we need to also select these, and you just kind of continue to zoom out to make sure you have everything selected. You may need to actually hold while you're hovering over. You can press the tab button to make sure you're selecting correct things. It kind of cycles through the draw order. Um, so that's an extra little helpful tip there. Once you have that all selected, hit Control C. Okay, that's gonna allow you to copy these elements. And so the next thing to do, actually, let's stay in this view. We're going to change our active design option to option 1. Um, you can save every so often, but I like to click out of that during these sessions here. You're going to see in option 1, it's empty, right? So we have nothing there. What you can do at this point is if you go to modify, right up here at the top, modify, paste, you push that little arrow down, and we're going to go aligned to same place. Okay. So basically what we've copied is these elements that we're going to need in any project regardless of the size. And what's actually going on here is your floor and these sort of parcel planes that I can select here. These are actually, they have a filter applied to them to make them look like they are property lines, make them look like there's a property line on the outside. Uh, and that's really just because that's the standard way of making it look. It's not actually a property line. It's really just the edge of these planes that I have set to override to look like a property line. You don't have to do anything. That's just me explaining it, right? So what I'm going to do is, to modify any of these things when you're building your site, when you're building the basic site, all of these elements here, they act the same way. If you want to change the shape of them, simply click on it and hit this edit boundary here. And you're going to go into this mode where you see the actual line work that's creating the plane there. And you're going to see also this box, this set of tools for drawing lines and making modifications. This is very simple. This is just like drawing a box, right? You drag, click, you have yourself a box. That's going to add, another chunk of surface over there. I'm going to delete this, and then you just hit the check mark to finalize it there. So I'm going to select this curb, and I'm going to just make a very simple curve, something that doesn't have all of these twists and turns and all of that kind of thing in there. I just want a big, flat square that has rounded edges. So I'm going to go through in here. I'm just holding the mouse and dragging with the left click, making sure that all that's left are these little corner bits. And then I'm going to draw a line. So it's nice and convenient. If you've ever used AutoCAD, you get your snaps. It automatically snaps very conveniently. Um, And what you have to make sure to do is make sure that you have a closed loop, and so that all of these lines do in fact form a closed loop, and it'll tell you if you don't. So we'll hit the check mark, and we have ourselves a nice square, rounded corner square. Um, you do want to make sure that each of these green spaces is allocated to a parcel. So what you're going to notice is as we copy that stuff over, these parcel planes show up, and certain items show up in certain views, right? So if I'm going to go down to parcel A, and I'm going to select this uh, upper left corner. This is what I want to be parcel A. So you'll notice over here under data, different elements you can fill out here. For these parcel planes, these are actually ceiling planes. Okay, now this is where things get interesting. I'm using ceiling planes to build most of this project. Ceiling family that I have put together in this project, and I'll talk a little bit more about why in the next video. But for now, I have these set as ceiling planes, which are creating the property lines of the project as well as measuring the acreage and helping out with the floor area ratio. In this view, uh, if I select this, this is labeled parcel A. So if you have a parcel labeled A, it's going to thicken the line around that, and you're going to know that that's in parcel A. If you select this green space here, this is actually a floor family, just like the curb and the road that sets the project boundary there. Um, that also has a label on it. So if you click on that, you want to have that as labeled A as well. Otherwise, it'll show up in one of these other views, and it'll show up as incorrect in your project information. So similarly, you have these other planes. I've got them labeled A, B, C, D, E, for instance. And so I want to make sure that, for instance, this green space here is in parcel E. This one is in parcel D. Already we have that parcel A. But if you wanted to change any of this, you can, obviously. But if you select this, see, parcel B. If you select this, parcel C. These are all custom parameters that I've built to make this whole routine function this way. The other thing that you'll notice once you copy these guys in, you're going to start to see some information pop up on your sheet and in your tabulations. Uh, it's measuring the acres, the total acres up here. Remember, this is project-wide information, so your total acres is measured there, and your open spaces is calculating those green floor plans that we're using. Floor planes, I'm sorry, that we're using. Similarly, down here, you're going to start to see the acre number be populated, the open space number be populated, and you can obviously modify the shape and the size and the number of parcels and all that kind of thing specific to your project. But what's important to note is this floor plane underneath it here, rather. I'm using that to drive the overall site. So the overall shape of your site should be set by this. And then if your site is subdivided further, is when you start using these other parcel planes. That's really all you need to know in terms of the site. For now, we're not going to worry so much about whether or not your site has extreme topographies or not. Um, we're going to basically just use this as a test fit, right? We're going to make sure that that we have a project that's balanced and it's parking and it has is hitting all of the goals of your client. We'll learn in future videos and future series on how to deal with topography. That's the end of this lesson. Site elements. We're going to move on next to lesson 4, starting to build actual building volumes and doing our massing studies. We'll see you there.